Yeah, as we get to the end of February and into March, we're going to see a lot of this flipping back and forth, big temperature spreads. Although as we go further in March, those warmer days are a little bit longer, colder days are a little bit shorter. But for the time being, we're going to flip back and forth. Now, we had the cold air come through today. That is going to push off to the east. We're going to get a return flow that'll get us a little bit more milder for Thursday, but it's really Friday where we pull a little bit more of this milder air from the south up to the north right before a cold front comes sweeping south. You can see the change, the winds and that colder air push through. That'll quickly come in through the weekend, so we're going to stay cold for the weekend. But going into next week, it gets a little bit more interesting because there's going to be a front pretty much just south of the area sitting there Monday and Tuesday, and then by Wednesday, Thursday, I think we're going to start seeing that pull northward, as you can see right there, which could give us some milder air for the second half of next week. Unfortunately, that's going to grab moisture too, you can see, so we might have more precipitation going into next Thursday and Friday, maybe in the form of rain too. So we will get milder going into next week, but for the time being, we're going to get to seasonable for tomorrow with the winds turning around. That warm front will come through about noon or a little early in the afternoon time frame, so it'll be more sun in the afternoon. But once again, getting to where we should be finally after we're seeing some colder conditions for a Wednesday. Now, as we go on to Friday, we're going to get those winds turning around to south even more, so we'll get up into the 40s and 50s. But do note the colder conditions here towards Decorah up to just south of La Crosse. That is because we have almost a foot of snow on the ground. That's probably going to keep these temperatures more closer into the low to mid 40s. Outside of that area with less snow on the ground, I think you'll see the 50-degree mark. The winds turn around quickly in the northwest. That's why you see those arrows coming, because a cold front will be coming through, at least in the evening time frame. That gives you Saturday, which looks a lot like today, with 20s and maybe even upper teens. The snow opportunity we'll show you here in a second, really mainly south of I-90, but that could be a concern too. But otherwise, it's back to winter, and don't expect much of a change with temperatures going into Sunday. Overall, we have that system just pushing to the south. Des Moines and Wahoo and those areas have seen some snow, about 1 to 2 inches. That's about far as north as we've seen it with it. So that's going to go through the area with provide clouds for maybe areas south of I-90. Here's that warm front, and ahead of that, we have some activity, cloud cover, and eventually some snow that'll come in. That's what we're monitoring for the morning commute that'll come through. Not expecting a lot until we get to that point. So once again, temperatures fall off really into the teens, but then as we go through tomorrow, we'll start seeing the cloud cover increase in the morning. Here comes that little activity right there that we could see a little bit of freezing drizzle or possibility in the morning, and a little bit of light snow as we go throughout the morning hour. Very light right now, but that is a possibility. Once we get in the afternoon, we'll have plenty of sunshine. Saturday's event poses a little bit more of a challenge, but more snow. As you see, 3+ inches is hugging just I-90 further south into far southwest Wisconsin, even northeastern Iowa. That's something we'll keep an eye on. That would be mainly Saturday morning, but you could pick up 1 to 2 inches, much less as you go further north. So that's something to keep an eye on. Otherwise, next week we do get closer to average, and as I mentioned, will likely be some point above average, but it does look like it's going to get wet towards the end of next week as the system begins to impact the area. So for those spring lovers, you get 1 day. For those winter lovers like me, you get probably a couple more days.
Okay, right. So you win.
Yeah, I win for the
He comes out ahead for a little bit.
Yeah, for this time.
All right, thanks, Greg.